Well, hi there. So today, this afternoon, we're going to do a very interesting acoustic experiment with these beautiful gongs behind me in this wonderful room. We're in a wooden room, in a wooden lodge up in the mountains outside of Taipei. And as you can see, the walls and the ceiling are all wood. The floor looks like wood, but actually it's kind of what we call faux wood. It looks like wood, but it isn't wood. And more especially, it's more reflective than real wood. It's between this semi-reflective wood on the ceiling and the walls, the very reflective glass in the windows. It's between those two. Apart from me and Eiling, we're the only people in the room at the moment. So that kind of magnifies the reflection of the floor. If in a normal gong bath, if this was full of people, they would drink up some of the sound. But what we're trying to do is to kind of gauge the difference in the sound that the gongs make in this room compared to a similar room next door, which we're going to do another little shoot in, which has got a different kind of floor. We're going to check what difference it makes to the sound. Okay, so now we have moved just a short from the one room to another. Same setup. The room's slightly different. It's slightly smaller. We've got this kind of alcove at the end here. There's kind of big entrance where the doors have been taken off. But the point really is the thing that's going to make the big difference to the sound, as we've got walls and ceiling just the same with the wood ceiling and the wood walls, is this floor here. These are those Japanese style mats, and they're much more they're much less reflective compared to the floor we were in earlier. They drink up the sound, and so we should be able to notice the difference in the acoustic property of the room when you should actually be able to hear it even with me talking. Even though we've actually got the other big distinction, I would say, is I think we've got more glass area here, which makes a bit of a difference. But really, the thing that I can tell is that we've got less of a ring in the room because we've got less reflections off the floor. And this is what we really want to try and check out when we're listening to the difference between the gong in the other room and the gong when we're going to play the gongs when we play them here. What conclusion can we draw from this curious acoustics experiment? Well, unlike you viewers who've already, I think, had the opportunity to hear the two recordings, I haven't heard them yet. I've just got my experiences to share with you. I've also, whilst we had the camera off, asked the couple of people who've been with us in the room, our gracious hosts, what they thought, and also my student thought of the difference of the sound and which one they preferred. And it kind of, most of them said they liked it in both rooms. So that was nice, but not helpful from the point of view of us trying to kind of synthesize the conclusion of the differences. From my point of view, I'm hoping that you could hear the difference between the rooms, whichever one you might have preferred. The second recording was a lot drier, we call it in acoustic terms. The floor that we've already talked about in here really did make a big difference. And I found that as a gong player, I could really hear more clearly the sound of the gong before I was getting the reflections back off the room. And it made it much more controllable as an exercise for me. And I felt as though the gongs were sounding more clearly because of it. So from my point of view, this is the second room was a better room, a better experience for me to play in. But maybe everybody was just being polite that they liked it in both rooms, but there we are. Maybe different people have got different perspective on it. And of course the other thing is that we're playing in pretty empty rooms, which if we'd had the floors completely filled with people lying down, that would have drunk up a lot of the sound and made it very different. But from the point of view of this experiment, to have a fairly empty room really, for me, brought out how powerfully different the sound is in one room to another, with just one factor taken, changed the floor. reflective floor, absorbent floor, and we've got an amazingly different sound. I hope you were able to see the difference.